it was a great team win, and it was just great to see us go on the road and play a complete game. And I said before the game, I said, I don't know what team is going to show up. But you look at us on offense, we had a 200-yard passer in Tyrone, a 100-yard receiver in Harris, and then you had a 100-yard rusher in Malcolm Brown. But it was just great. And then you see the runs that Jay Gary made. So he made some outstanding runs also. Offensive line did a really outstanding job of blocking, but it was just, you watch us start off slow on offense, and then we kind of got it cranked up. You know, we had the one mishap there where the ball slipped out of Tyrone's hand, and they scored a touchdown, and we were able to get it back together. And then on defense, it was all about finishing the game, and told our defense that we needed to go out and just make some plays and make some stops. You know, the hit by Diggs kind of set the whole momentum for the rest of the game. You don't ever like to see that happen to any player, but you know, see him get the hit on the quarterback, and then to watch the defense all of a sudden just come alive and start playing for the rest of the game. And then you see Nick Rose miss a field goal, then he was able to bounce back. But what's really exceptional for him is just kicking the ball out of the end zone. I don't think we've had any run back since the Oklahoma games where he's been banging it out. But just see a complete game and then just watch us just steadily improve. I know we're not where we should be, but we just continue to get better and better.
Coach, has it got to the point in the season yet where we're going to get an update on Desmond Harrison?
No update on Harrison. Zero.
Go ahead, Brian.
Charlie, you know, it really seemed like after the game that the players were relieved more than anything else. So a lot of smiles. They talked about how they had fun, all those types of things. Did that carry over on Sunday, and do you want that vibe to keep going?
Well, you have to enjoy playing the game, and I don't think that we really have done it yet. It's just that, you know, just week by week, just a performance, and we had to play better. When you win, you're going to have a lot of smiles and laughs, but when you don't win, you know, then that's when everybody has a long look on their face and they're very sad. But we just need to continue just to play better, and then you're going to have a lot of fun. If you win football games, it creates smiles.
What role?
Coach, you kind of touched on the consistency thing. You know, sometimes week to week we don't really know what team is going to show up, whether it's the Kansas State 0 points or you guys rebounding this week. How do you establish that consistency with this team? Well,
I told our guys, and I told our quarterback especially, it's going to go as he goes. If the quarterback has a good game, then the team's going to play very well, and the quarterback needs to play well. And then on defense, it's all about us just playing great defense, and that's the way this team is built. You know, our number one thing we talk about playing to win is go play great defense. And defensively, we got off to a good start, and we needed to get off to a good start. But it's got to be about just playing as just a complete team, even with the kicking game, just change the field position. I tell them either score or just set up a score, but just make sure that there's no critical mistakes within our kicking game.
What role did your seniors have in that win on Saturday, and how important is it that they buy in with 3 remaining games left?
Well, for the seniors, it's all about them finishing the right way. And you look at John Harris, the way he played, and you look at Malcolm, the way he played, and even Quadre, and then Ced Reed didn't get a sack, but he just played an unbelievable game, just applying pressure all day. But the seniors are playing very well. McHale comes down with an interception, his first one of the season. But the more seniors, you know, they're beginning to contribute more. Steve Edmond, leading tackler, Hicks, the way he plays. But you just like the way our senior class is now, just taking hold of the team and trying to lead it.
Charlie, how involved are you on the offensive side? You've said you're in a lot of defensive meetings. Do you just leave it up to Sean and Joe to figure out what it is from week to week, or do you say, we're going to, you know, I want this to be conservative, or what's your input on that?
No, the only thing I do is, you know, during the flow of the game, I just see how the game is going, and if we're not really getting anything going on offense, I may say, hey, let's up tempo, but I don't get involved. Well, I have enough issues on defense where we're trying to get that solved.
Charlie, they talk about confidence. You talk about the smiles in the game. It's down to crunch time. You got to win 2 of the last 3 to qualify for a bowl game. Where's the confidence level of the team going into these games?
Well, it's all about us getting ready, getting prepared for West Virginia. We know it's an outstanding football team, and you know the good thing about it, we have them at home. We need to play good at home. We haven't played well at home all season long, and the thing for us to start doing is defending our home stadium, in which we haven't done a great job on our own turf. But it's all about, you know, it's one by one. So let's get ready for this one, and we know we're playing a really good football team, so we're going to have to be at our best.
The middle route.
Coach, it's one thing to target a guy when he's open, but John Harris this year I mean, he's won battles. Do you go, how in the world do you catch 9 balls in 3 years? I know he had some injuries, but this guy's playing like a beast.
Oh, you're right, Roger. And it's so funny. We were just talking about that. I said, I don't know where it came from because I didn't see it in the spring. And for him to have the season, and the thing about it is that he wants the ball, like he wants the football. And even the one that slipped out of Tyrone's hand, he looked to the field, but Harris had his guy beat right away. If he had looked left right off, it would have been a big run and a catch right there. But it's just fun to watch him play with the intensity he's playing at, and he does. He goes out there. The one ball was kind of underthrown. He goes up, takes the ball from the defender, stays on his feet, make a guy miss, and then comes back to the outside. The one that I got on him about the touchdown that he dropped. He said he lost it in the lights, and that's why I was kind of like looking like where the lights at, where they're at. But it's just to watch how he's competing. But if you look at our offense, when he plays well and he gets going, then the whole offense get going because they kind of feed off of him.
Congratulations on the no false starts. That's retired.
You like that?
That's good. DJ Johnson had limited touches. How important is it to get him more involved, and what do you see his role these last 3 games? DeJay's
an outstanding athlete, and he'll get more involved. I think we handed him 2 reverses, and the one Tyrone let out overthrew him and it went out of bounds. I think if it had been on target, then he would have caught that one right in stride. Because the thing he can do is he can stretch defenses, and once he get the ball in his hand, he's such a playmaker. He's so fun to watch.
In the middle, Bob. How much more confidence does the offensive line have after a night like that? And second, now that you're 2-0 in orange turtlenecks, or mock turtlenecks, where you wear nothing but orange from now on?
You sound like my daughter Hope. She told me I can only wear orange from here out. But and I say it all the time, but we squeeze every ounce out of that offensive line, and they're playing so well. And you look at them, you look inside, we took Taylor and moved him at the center, and it really just fights. And then with Perk and Said at the guard position, and then you go Cameron, which I tease him about, I call him NCAA all the time, and then on the other side with Hutch, it's just that group of guys, and they kind of finding a nucleus, because usually the offensive line it's a special bond there, and they kind of finding that nucleus now, and they're just playing as well as they can play, and we just get more and more out of them each and every week. To go out and protect Tyrone, go where he goes and throws for 200, then you have a 100-yard rusher, and then Jay Gray I think ended up right around 80 himself. But it's fun to watch that group because they just go out and just compete, and it is. They always talk about the offensive line is a dirty job. Those guys, I try to give them credit in meetings because I say all the time the reason why is look what we're getting out of our offensive line right now.
Charlie, you met with all your players this spring. You showed tape of them. I'm guessing when you sat down with John Harris, you didn't have much tape to show him. What did you think of him, coming out of the spring and maybe what he could do for you?
What I said to him during the spring, he came in, we had a meeting with John because he was one of those guys, 3 years had been here, had not done anything. I think he's been in more trouble than he's been out on the playing field, and just told him that it's all about his attitude, and he needs to decide if he really wants to be here, and then he make his mind up. And, right away, even during preseason camp, you really didn't see it because he would just go out and practice, but really didn't show much. But then when it came into games, he started playing well. But it was just fun to just watch him right now.
And your left center?
Coach, West Virginia had Alabama on the ropes and probably should have beat TCU yesterday. What do you think about their offense, particularly Trickett, who's been putting up some big numbers?
Well, you look at Trickett, and the thing about it, you're getting a guy to transfer in there, and he played, he started some games at Florida State, now he's at West Virginia. But you look at the big receiver, Kevin White, that's it. He's the guy, the go-to guy. And then you also have 2 running backs that are rushing for over 500 yards. Up-tempo offense, scores a lot of points. What's going to be key for us on defense, we have to get lined up. And we know this, they're going to move the ball on us, but the thing we had to do is just make sure we can't give up the home runs. Make them drive the football and make them be protected. They're really good on third down. I think that, on third down, we have to get off the field, and that's where they're great right now. They're converting third downs and keeping those drives moving.
Middle chip.
Charlie, it sounds like this is going to be a big week for you in recruiting, a lot of kids in. What's your philosophy on official visits during the season, and what impression do you want to make on these recruits?
Well, the first impression you'd like to do is go win that football game and then give them something that, they can see us go play well. But, it's really tough to bring in official visitors during the season because on Fridays you're with the team and then Saturday you play the game, so you don't get much time with them. But our hosts, which is really the key, is the players. They're going to have to do a really good job of just selling the program and selling what it's all about. But, the first thing we need to do is go out and play well and give them something to talk about.
Back left, James.
You talked about you're already squeezing as much as you can out of that offensive line. Are they capable of more, and how important are they to your run game?
They're really capable of more, but with the run game, that's who they have to get it started, and they have to get on people, and not so much we ask them to move people, but just give us a crease so our backs can run through. And look at the holds. I think the one big run by Malcolm, they was able to open it up and let him run down the seam right down the middle of the defense. But it's critical that we're just getting on the right people, and that's what we're doing now, is just get on the right people. And I tell them all the time, they may not move them off the line of scrimmage, but if they can just body them up and let give our backs a chance. And, sometimes with Jay Gray, don't run sideways. You got to get downhill because we can't hold that block that long. All right, so it's best just go get 2 or 3 yards instead of trying to think you're going to go get the home run.
Middle, Brian.
Charlie, piggybacking off the run game question, would you say that the second half was the best you guys have done so far at trying to get where y'all want to go with a power run game, using the tight ends as blockers? That's what ultimately y'all wanted from the start.
And that's what you like to get to, because what you can do, and everything's always formation-based, and it's formation-based when you play against other teams also. But, what we did was we took back and we put him at fullback. But also we can take back and we can put him on the line of scrimmage. We can take back, we can flex him out. So it just create problems for the defense, and that's the only thing you're trying to do is create mismatches. And so now when you play power football, lead ball, now you got a bigger guy who's leading on a linebacker. And not to say that Delatorre can't do it. Delatorre can do it, but what you can't, when you leave a tight end in the game, they know in this, with a fullback, you can only get in so many formations. But when a tight end's in the game, you can just go run your game plan and go do different things. And that's what that allowed us to do with the two tights.
Back middle, Chris.
How do you guard against overconfidence from a win where the team looked complete, but it was against a third-string quarterback and a D that given up 82 points?
I don't think we can get any overconfident at all. Not us. But well, you look at it. The quarterback, they came in. We end up putting one out of the game. But still, though, it's just how we got to go play and how we have to finish and make sure that we play well. We had a number of missed tackles. We had some MAs that we can get corrected. But everything that happened, we can get it corrected within our team.
On your left, Alex.
Coach, do you see Darius James is a guard prospect moving forward? And I guess I'm wondering, because it seemed like he looked pretty good at tackle before, and now Hughes is there. It seems like you guys are wanting to stick with him. Is that because you guys view James is more of a guard prospect?
Well, what we try to do now, Alex, is with that offensive line, we just try to move him around. Like, you got a swing guy like James, he can play guard or tackle, so you let him play that, he can play either one. So if something was happening at the tackle position, then you got a guy who can go and play the tackle. And then, it's like Taylor going to center. You got a guy who can play guard or center. So it's all about the flexibility that we have right now with those guys.
On your left, Ryan.
Charlie, you look at what Tech had to deal with playing a third-string quarterback. How concerned are you guys with Tyrone, and are you taking steps through the week to make sure he's healthy? He has not had to miss a snap, to the best of my knowledge.
Well, that's it. But you look all across the country, Ryan. Everybody's in that position. Nobody want to lose their starter, and that's why I hope it doesn't happen to us. Because if it does, then the other guys are getting to work at practice, but they haven't had to work in the game.
On your right, Anwar.
Coach, you guys have hung close with top 25 teams, but you just haven't been able to pull out a victory yet. Is this a week where you have to kind of emphasize kind of the smaller details and how important the little things are to beating a good team? Yeah, because you're looking at this as a top 25 team, but we're going to have to go play our best to go beat this team because they're playing so well right now, and they got beat on a last-second field goal there by TCU. But unbelievable team. But we need to go finish, and that's what we haven't done well, is just go finish. We didn't finish early against UCLA. We didn't finish against Oklahoma and didn't play well against Baylor. But we need to go finish these games.
On your left, Jack.
Coach, Malcolm Brown got up to 22 carries this week. Obviously looked good, 116 yards. In your perfect world, is he the kind of back that can get 20, 25 carries? Would you like to see more of that, or are you looking more for a committee?
No, you look at it right now with Malcolm and Jay Gray. Both of those guys are playing a lot of snaps, and what happens, like last week, Malcolm didn't get those touches, and we were talking about it. He just wasn't in there when those drives were coming. So when you drive the football, if you're in the game, you just stay in the game and get your runs in. But you like to see a guy, get the touches, and we like to see more 100-yard rushes is what you'd like to see.
On your left, Kirk.
With the downfield passing game, he showed more deep throws against Tech. Do you feel like the offense has evolved where it could win a high-scoring shootout with a team like West Virginia?
I don't know if we can win that shootout. I just don't want to see our defense getting caught up in a shootout. I'll be very upset being on the defensive side of the ball. But I don't want to ever have to place us in that position. We can throw the ball deep. I think we took the ball there. They go up, then we boom, boom, 2 passes, touchdown. But we can throw the ball deep as long as we can protect Tyrone because he have enough for him. The one he laid out there to Marcus, I told him let it go, and he said, well, I threw as far as I can. I said, that ball only went 50 yards. I mean, I thought you could hang it out. But with the speed we have, because you got Marcus who can just go straight, take the top off of a defense. You have the Jay who can go take the top off of a defense. So you have some guys that can, if he can lay it out there, can go get it.
Middle chip.
Charlie, what did TCU do coverage-wise to take away Kevin White? And you're really good at nicknames. Green Mile for Hassan and NCAA for Cameron. What would your nickname be for this team?
Oh, for this team, I've thought of one. I mean, I got something in mind, but it's not. But you know what? They have a really outstanding corner themselves in TCU, and he manned up with them. And then what they did too is they doubled him because you can roll up to him and then force him to beat the he's got to come off of a coverage, a jam coverage, and then they try to get him the ball. So what they did was they took him out of the game, so they forced the throws to the other receivers, and which they do have some other receivers, but it's going to be about us and just how much, how well we play. We got to play well in the back end. With our secondary has to play very well and just not give up those home runs and the big throws.
On your left, Alex.
Coach, speaking of that, I noticed versus Kansas State, Duke seemed to be on 16 Lockett all the time. Is that something that you guys? It seems like some games, one guy stays on one side the whole time. Sometimes they're actually switched from side to side, but they generally stay on the same side. Versus that team, he shadowed him. Are you guys going to do the same thing with the big West Virginia guy, or is he going to match up as well versus him?
Yeah, what happened in that game? We was playing just a different coverage, and what we was doing was trying to take Lockett out of the game and force the ball in the other receiver's hands. But right now it's just got to, we just got to go right and left and just go play it and just make sure that we get coverage over the top of wherever we need the coverage, and knowing where you have to be aware of him at all times.
Middle, Roger.
Charlie, Tyrone was kind of thrust into this spot, and he's a soft-spoken kid. Do you guys work on, getting him amped up, toughen him up, be that leader you want as a quarterback? How do you coach that?
Well, I told him that's the thing. The quarterback position has got to be the leader because he's the guy, the ball in his hand. He's going to make a lot of decisions which way the ball's going to go. But and I think that with him now, he's kind of just growing and developing in that position because, he didn't play well against Kansas State, knowing he had to bounce back this week and play well, and he did, and he took it upon himself. He said, I just didn't play well, and it's my fault that we would have had the showing that we had on offense. And then you can see he's maturing and growing up. You watch that ball, a lot of times guys don't come back when the ball slips out of your hand. It's pick it up, touchdown, especially a young guy. They go in the tank and you just say, hey, listen, you'll be fine. Just make sure we come back out and just go get a score here. And he's able to come back like no big deal. I think a lot of things with him, and sometimes it's better to have just his personality, because a lot of times it just rolls off his back and you kind of like, okay, where you at? Like, help me out here, come on. I mean, there's something in there, but it's just great to see him how he's developing and really becoming himself.
You're right.
Coach, what does Mikel's first interception of the season do for his confidence level and the confidence level of the team?
Well, he's dropped plenty of them, so I'm glad he finally got. I'm glad he got one of them finally. But it's always good to see him get that first one, and it's an interesting story with Mikel. He wears glasses, so he had not been wearing contacts. So I said to him, let me ask you something. In a game, do you have contacts in? He's like, no. I said, so how do you see the ball? He said, well, I can see. I said, how do you see? And you can't. I said, look at your glasses. He said, well, they're not that bad. I said, but you're wearing glasses. I said, how long you been wearing glasses? He said, since the 9th grade. I said, okay, so your eyes have been wearing and tearing since the 9th grade. So you're telling me you can see a ball when it's thrown. And he said, yeah, I can see it. I said, okay, did you see that double move out there against Baylor? And he's like, yeah, kind of late. I said, it's what, you can't see the, yeah, late, it's too late. But he's got his contacts in now, so that's what I told him the other night. I said, you never would have caught that ball if you didn't have your contacts in. But I was just teasing him about it. But, yeah, he ran out to go put him back in, yes, but he's been wearing his contacts now.
Coach, the Texas Tech game, that was the blueprint. That's what you've been wanting all year long. Why has it been so difficult to duplicate that?
I don't know, Sid. I wish I had that answer, and that's why I said I just like to see which team I get today. But anytime it's all about when you're dealing with so many young guys, and you have a senior class, and a lot of that senior class hasn't really played also, because you think about it, John Harris, all of a sudden he comes on the scene, is playing really well. You lose your quarterback, now you've got a new quarterback in there. But even with the offensive line, there's a group there that has never started before. The strength right now is on defense, and that's why I put all the pressure on the defense, because you look at our defensive front with Malk, with Ced Reed, with Ridgeway, guys that played a lot of football, with Hicks and with Edmond inside, and the DBs, they played a lot. So that's why I like to put all the pressure on them and try to relieve the offense. So I'm just tell offense, don't turn the ball over, don't put us in a bad position, but let the defense go out and play it, let them set the tone, and then defensively we may have to play, 2 quarters, 3 quarters until our offense get going. And once they get going, then make sure that we hold the lead if we ever get the lead.
All right, for 2 last ones in the middle, Brian.
Charlie, I know you do your coach's show on Thursday, but did you get to watch the Louisville game, or how much of that? And do you show your guys, or do the guys say, hey, this is what we're building towards, this is what we're trying to get?
No, I watched it, Brian. I only watched like a part of the 4th quarter, but I don't ever talk about that program because you know what happens. It's just a lot of times when guys, with young players, they all have an ego. So if you say, "Hey, look at that guy," they're going to tell you they're better than him anyway. So I just don't even go in that direction. But it's just that we're going to get there, and we will get there. I hope a lot sooner than later, and it's going to happen. It's going to. This season, and I said it last week, is disappointing because I think that we could be a lot better than what we are, what our records show. I think we're a better football team than that. But it's all about consistency. It's about finishing. It's about guys just playing with pride, and guys having confidence and believing in themselves, and where they can go get it done. But within this team, and I tell them, and anything I say to you, they've heard it before, that we're a better football team. It's just us going out and putting it all together and playing together as a football team.
Last one on your left, Kirk.
And Charlie, what is your level of confidence for beating one of these top 25 teams and making a bowl game?
Well, it doesn't bother me at all because I just want to make, and I told our coaches that we haven't beaten a top 25. We need to go beat one. And then my confidence is fine because when you've done it before, it doesn't bother you that much. I just want to make sure that the confidence is built within our players where they believe it. Because I said, just what we have to do this week is just make sure that we have a plan that we can go execute and give our players the best chance to go win, and where they can just play with energy and play with excitement there at home, get a crowd behind us, and just have fun. Just enjoy this. It's our seniors. It's 3 games left. This is one, and I said it's really have come very quickly, and it's gone. You think about it. It's only 3 left, guys. I said you never thought you'd be in this position so quickly, but we're here.
Thank you, Coach.
All righty. Thank you.